Y'all check this out. This is me matching on the dating apps, and this is me walking into a first date after following this creator's advice. For example, he says the way to approach a guy on the apps is by sending a message to the guys you like, complimenting them, then ask them a question. But does that really work to go from on the app to in person? And now I'm heading to meet up with a guy I met on the apps this morning. But how much of this was chance? How much was dating advice in action? I have obsessed over Lamont's content because I want a man this year. I've appeared on his YouTube channel. I've listened to his interviews. I've had him on this show, and after over 100 hours of content I've seen of him, he only has 3 basic rules to his dating app advice. The last one is probably the one we're messing up the most. I put it to the test, swiped right, and had a date all in the same day. So I'm sharing the advice I follow to make it all happen tonight on Dear Black Gay Man Podcast. And the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It's Tuesday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Man Podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men and love black gay men. Lamont's first piece of dating advice is date with intention. Check this out. Finding that one person that cares from a first date is difficult.
And you'll see a couple and you're like, oh, he's unattractive. How did he bag that guy? Because he showed up. He cares. He invests in the person. A 6 goes to a 10 immediately. I'm like, immediately.
The room is like, preach, Lamont. It is easy to doom swipe on dating profiles. Lamont says that after around 10 profiles, we kind of get numb to the profiles and the process of scrolling through the apps. What worked for me is to follow Lamont's messaging advice. Lead with a compliment from their profile and then ask a question. To get off the apps and to get to the date as soon as they respond, I hit them with effort and intention. I said, I'm tired of swiping and I really am looking for an actual connection. Does that sound like something that you're interested in? I found that the direct approach worked well for the people that I matched with, but was that too soon to add intention to the conversation? So my question for y'all is, how long do y'all stay on the apps before y'all start meeting folk? Before you start talking about meeting a date from I ain't gonna list the apps because they ain't paying me no money. But how long are you on the apps before you're like, hey, let's meet up? Hey, everybody. Oh, hell. Y'all be in the chat. J926 was the first one this time. Hey, J926, first comment. Panther says y'all missed the after show on IG. It was so random. It was the most random conversation ever, but I got some enlightenment. There was a whole conversation that happened on my IG at JAI the Gentleman. But how long do you stay on the apps? How long are you communicating in the DMs or in the inbox before you're like, okay, let's meet? Panther says a couple of hours. Let's see if it works today. Panther says, see, got the comments back. A couple of hours. Rolando says about 20 minutes. Winter Menace says, I only use the apps for sex. I thought you were asexual, Winter Menace. Baron says, hey, DBG and fam and Uncle Jay. You know that Uncle Jay does something for me. But how long are y'all in the apps? Because the gotcha for me is I try to get off the apps as quickly as possible. If I swipe right and send you a message, right? That's the first thing that I had to learn in order to go through this challenge. I challenged myself to see if I could swipe right on somebody and have a date in the same day that mattered. It's not just having a date the same day for the purposes of, a challenge. I really did find somebody I'm genuinely attracted to, had an interesting conversation, was motivated to meet them, and actually did it in the same day. And it was like a fluke. I was at this for months before it happened. But what I found for myself is I like moving through the process quickly. Like, I do not want to be the type of person that's on the apps for days, weeks, and we making building a connection on some inbox somewhere. If I like you, if you're cute, I'm cute, if we both see each other as something worth trying to pursue, then yeah, I'm trying to get off the app as quickly as possible. Am I the drama? Like, is that weird? Panther said, if the pics look good, properly 20 minutes. Now, is this for dating or is this for a hookup? Because if it's a hookup, that time frame shortens a lot more for me. Like, if it's a hookup, I'm trying 2 or 3 exchanges and I'm ready to go. But if it's like a date, this is not somebody that I'm trying to have something frivolous with. I'm trying to go have a conversation, grab a cup of coffee, a cocktail, something like that. Like, how long are you in the apps before you move on and try to be like, okay, let's do something else. Let's take this to the next level. Unlimited always drops a good nugget. Unlimited says rule of thumb is maximum 48 hours from matched to confirmed date. Got it. 48 hours from match to confirmed date. I see that. Winter Minute says, I really use it to make conversation and find gamer folks. That gamer term is always so interesting to me. I'm not a gamer, but I do have a console. I'm an Xboxer. But I'm always curious. I'm trying to stay on topic because I'm always curious how much conversation is enough to spark curiosity versus to come across as thirsty or too, like, is there a such thing as too intentional, too much? I'm not trying. I do hit him with an intentional question early on because I want to set the intention. What I said was, uh, in this particular instance, is I said I'm tired of swiping and I really am looking for actual connection. Does that sound like something you're interested in? That is like the third message for me. I swipe right. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? What's up? I'm Jay. What's up? This your name? You in Atlanta, blah blah blah, and then I hit him with, I'm tired of swiping, and I really am looking for a connection. Is that something you interested in? Because if they be like no, then bet, got it, and I can move on. No harm, no foul. Is that too soon? Is the question that I have for everybody in the chat. Rolando says nope. I'm very intentional. Holla at your boy says outside of my sexual experiences, a schedule dependent for meeting. I mean, inside my sexual experiences, we need a schedule because I mean, it takes time to prepare for something for certain activities. I hunch before I date if we met on a hookup site. If it's a date within a week or two, a week or two. So, Mr. Witty, I'm a double tap on that. Are you saying that every time that you meet a, because I mean, every app is a hookup app. I know people who have hooked up off of Instagram. So are you saying that if, for instance, you are connecting with somebody, you are trying to hunch before the first date, Mr. Witty? Unlimited's added 1 week in total from match to confirm to in-person date or next. Now, I will tell you that. Fun story, because remember I told y'all this podcast started because I got stood up for a date. And I used a very similar process to get the date that I talked about in the intro. Um, there was this boy, and I'll tell you this was on Jacked because I don't know anybody who uses Jacked meaningfully anymore. I don't know why it is so cumbersome. Like the map is always off. The people ain't never where they supposed to be. The distance they are away from me is crazy. And then they show me people that are like in China. And it don't make no sense. I don't use Jacked, so I'll tell you. This particular instance, this was 4 years ago. I had just gotten out of my relationship with Joe. I am now a free agent, sticking my toe back in the dating pool. And there was this dude on Jacked that I wanted to get with before Joe. Joe and I were together for 2 years. I wanted to get him way before Joe, and it just never aligned. Then after me and Joe break up, after I heal, after I mend, he's on jacked again, and he's like, 8, 9, 10, whatever, however many miles away. I was living on the east side. He lived in Buckhead. My barber was in Buckhead at the time. And so I told him, let's meet up for brunch, because I get my haircut Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. So if I'm done at 10:30, bet, let's go have a early brunch, a late breakfast. He was like, bet. And I, being the gentleman, said, I will come pick you up and I will drop you off. I'll make sure you get there safely, right? All day. This is like Tuesday. We're coordinating Tuesday for a Saturday. And now for me, which I'll talk about later in the show, I do not do a whole lot of communication before that first meeting. Like I will be consistent. I will call you every day. You will hear my voice on a regular basis, but I'm not going to be the one having these long exhaustive text conversations with you and be, in the DMs all day. That ain't me. And so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we good. Saturday morning, all of a sudden he has this phantom car appointment that he couldn't get out of, that he apparently didn't know about for the 4 days before, and tries to reschedule. Well, he doesn't try to reschedule. At first, I wanted to reschedule, and then I was like, he didn't value my time enough to tell me that he was getting his car fixed on Saturday morning at the same time we were supposed to go to brunch. Pass. But that to me was exactly what Unlimited was talking about. About a week from swipe match conversation to meeting should be inside a week. In my case, this particular instance that I'm recounting on this show, because of Lamont's good advice, I was able to connect with him inside a day. And then I wrote about what happened next on Substack. You'll be able to see that in a second. Unlimited also said, dating apps, I'm not here for pen pals. Mr. Witty says, yes, I love a pre-date hunch. I'm here for it. A King says, I need this conversation because I was literally called a hoe today. Bro, we met on Sniffies. The fuck? If he called you a hoe, fuck him. Rolando said, Jacked is trash. Yes, it is. Jacked has been a no for me for a while. Mr. C, hunch and dinner or drinks hunch movie. It's a challenge to see if they can still be normal and do something after hunching. If not, they just want to hunch. Okay, let me push back on that one a little bit, Mr. Witty, because I don't know what you look like from the neck down, so I'm not gonna speculate. What you might have a whole lot to hunch, you might have a little bit to hunch and just know what to do with it. I don't know, but my perspective when I'm talking about sex and the timeline for dating, I believe sex is an addictive behavior, just like meth or crack cocaine or poppers. I believe sex is an addictive behavior. That is why I don't ever do drugs that you can inject. That is why I never snort anything, because I believe that those are the most addictive behaviors, right? I don't do it because I'm easily addicted. Perhaps your hunching is easily addicting. And it might not have been that's what they approached you for, but you done gave them the good shit, and now that's all they can see. Now they a fiend. So I mean, there is a level of self-control everybody has to exhibit, but also you kind of taking an alcoholic to a liquor store, ain't you? That's just my thoughts on it. Again, I can be the drama, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, tonight I want to know, how long do you stay on the apps before you start making plans to meet up for a date? Let me know in the chat. And as always, if you've got an opinion on the topic, join me live on the show by going to livestream.dearblackgayman.com. The link is pinned in the comments. But first, it is time for church announcements. Hit it. Every week, I write about the ups and downs of my dating journey on our blog on Substack. It's a deep dive into my emotional and sexual trials while I manifest my man in 2025. You can join for free by clicking the screen, or the link is in the description. Now, hear me good, because I had to write down these notes. We got a big show coming up. Tomorrow, September 24th, I am talking to Amir Odom. Amir Odom is he would say moderate or conservative leaning Black gay man who met and has personal encounters with Charlie Kirk. And he just did this viral video, got, almost 2 million views now, talking about how Charlie Kirk, debunking myths about Charlie Kirk. And I get to react to that video with him. It's not just he's coming to the show. It's not just he's coming to the conversation. He is coming to this studio. He will be here tomorrow, sitting right over there. I am so excited about this. Let me tell you why I'm excited. Let me tell you why I'm excited. The issue that I find in our culture, Black culture, is when someone is conservative, we create a whole narrative about their personality. We create a whole story in our head about who they are and what they do. I did that with him. I absolutely profiled, is that the word? I profiled him because the second I heard that he voted for Trump, I was like, hell no. Absolutely not. But the problem with that, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, the problem with that is that we don't have any space in the conversation to understand each other. So here's my ask for everybody in the chat. This man got 700,000 subscribers. He is going to promote this show on his platforms. He is going to have this on his socials. He talks to millions of people every single month and just went viral. There are a couple ways this conversation can go. The first is we, the DBGM fam, can get in the conversation and have a meaningful discourse. We don't have to agree. I'm not walking away from this thinking that he is going to change my perspective on anything, and I'm not walking away thinking I'm going to change his perspective. But what I am asking the DBGM fam to do is stand with me in solidarity so we can navigate this conversation. He is going to bring his audience. So I'm going to need y'all to tap in with me. I'm reading comments. I ain't gonna post some of these, but I am reading comments. That is my ask of the DBGN family. Then on a lighter note, we have just launched the ticket sales for the private party. The private party, I'm so excited about it. Y'all, let me see. Applause. Can I applause? And air horn. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, so here's how it's going to go. The private party is October 9th. Location is to be announced. We have secured the location. We're just going to announce it later. But the private party is happening October 9th. Atlanta Pride Weekend kicks off October 9th through that Sunday, October 12th. We are going to be one of the first events that are happening during Pride Weekend. We are not an official Pride event, but we are having one of the first parties that are happening Pride Weekend. At this event, there will be live music. There will be a DJ. There will be a open bar, and we will be vibing through the roof. It will be on Thursday night, October 9th. You can go to dearblackgayman.com/tickets to get your tickets to the private party. I am so excited about it. I cannot tell you how excited I am. And the person performing is so excited. What I can tell you about the person performing is They will be on the main stage during Pride weekend in Piedmont Park. They are internationally known. They have been on The Voice and a couple other places. And I don't mean just, they got on TV. They actually had a judge, were on a team, the whole nine. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be so dope here. Now, let me also say this. I launched this in the DBGM Insiders group this morning. Half the tickets are already gone. Have not even posted it to the grid on socials. Half the tickets are already gone. So you need to get your tickets right this second. DearBlackGayMen.com/tickets to save your seat for the private party, because space is severely limited. Severely limited. So I want y'all to be, when I come on here tomorrow and be like, oh, it's sold out. Unfortunately for this isn't a game. It's not sold out and I'm going to call somebody and get 10. No, it's when it's gone, it's gone. So private party, October 9th, happening. Location to be announced. Open bar, live music, vibes to the roof, the whole night. It's going to be so great. I am so excited about it. How do you know you're ready to date? This question came in last week from a listener. He wants companionship, but also he wants to be left alone because he's an introverted homebody. How do I know if I'm ready to date or just lonely? That's what he asked. I'm not the dating guru like Lamont, but I had to honestly answer 3 basic questions to figure out if I was ready to get back in the dating pool after my last relationship. Number 1, am I ready to date when I'm horny? If this is the case, it's obvious no. You're absolutely not ready to date. You just want some boochie cat. Number 2 is, would you rather Jay, you can read. Who would the other person be dating? I am a homebody. So if I ask someone to date me, that is to walk alongside me on my life's journey, what exactly would that look like? If all I have to offer is Netflix shows and my sofa, then I'm probably not ready to date. Then number 3, am I ready to grow? Black gay men get it twisted, thinking we have to have ourselves completely figured out in order to date. Really, you just need to have a good enough grip on yourself that you're ready to grow. The guy you date is going to see you up close and personal, and he will show you and tell you things about yourself that you either didn't know, didn't notice, or didn't feel the need to adjust. Being dateable is having a firm enough grasp on self to be whole, but a loose enough grip to evolve. If you want to hear about what happened on my date from today's episode, comment Lamont and I'll sing the story. Follow for more dope queer stories. The easiest way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations like the private party. Well, the private party and a conversation. The members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. And a portion of your memberships and super chats will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit providing HIV prevention and care in Black gay culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. For all the latest updates, follow me everywhere on socials at JAI the Gentleman on Instagram and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly, and we will be right back. Y'all been asking for it, so here you go. Do the thing. Do the thing. What is stigma? I truly believe that it comes up when you think something can't happen to you. Like when we think we could never be femme, so we end up with femphobia laced all up and through our dating profiles. Or when we don't be out there like that, so we slut shame people for doing openly what we try to sneak and do privately. But there aren't too many spaces where stigma rises to a criminal level like it does with HIV.
Knowingly gave her HIV and never told her he was infected.
We're talking to 4 Black men from across the country, all living with HIV. I want to see how stigma comes up in their lives
and what we can all do to overcome it.
I've been in the gym so I could do two things. It's one, thirst trap on the internet, and look good for my man when I find one. And that's why I'm excited that support for Dear Black Gay Men comes from Twillery. Black men, whether you're in the gym, like me, or blessed with good genetics, like me, carry our weight in a couple key spots that can make suits and slacks hard to fit and uncomfortable to wear without either having to size up or break the bank in tailoring. But Twillery answers the fit problem with their performance fabrics. It's the right fit for the tailored look and just enough stretch for comfort and breathability. I'm wearing right now the solid performance polo that hugs my chest and arms while tapering just enough at the waist to show off the good parts. Twillery carries suiting, polos, button-ups, and everything to impress at the job or knock someone's socks off on a date. And you can shop for the perfect fit right now at Twillery.com, and we've got a special offer for the DBGM family. Take $18 off your first order by using code M300J. That's Twillery.com, and we thank them for supporting our channel. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Lamont's second piece of advice was one of the hardest for me to figure out on the dating apps. Check this out. Okay, what's number 2?
Date for compatibility. You should have a list of the type of guy you want to be in a relationship with. Like, you should say, I need to date a guy who's older than me, right? So if you date a lot, you know what you want in a guy. So you should have a list of things that you want in a guy. So when you're on the date with him, you're looking to see if he checks those boxes, right?
How many things is a good number? Because I know a whole bunch of girls.
A handful of things.
A handful of things that you're absolutely looking for.
Right,
You're
like
non-negotiables.
if spirituality is really important for you.
Like John said, he was a church boy.
If you're a church boy, that means on that first date, you're looking to see if the man even prayed over his food.
Damn, that's good. I ain't think of it that way now.
Right.
I found that men don't fill out dating profiles, so understanding if we're compatible was hard. But I learned a couple things about men who don't fill out their profiles altogether. They're probably not that intentional about dating, or they're probably unclear on the type of person that they'd like to date. My question for the chat is, do you swipe right on blank dating profiles? Ooh, child, y'all been talking. Unlimited says, sounds like a vibe, Jay. I'll be there in spirit. Happy birthday, Jay. I live in Cali, and it's my parents' birthday month and weekend. All duties called. Fair. It will be a vibe, and I wish you could make it. Whole lot of talk about my conversation tomorrow. My issue is that the delusion, believing what the media tells you in reality. If you can't think critically, then there's no point to talk. I could like triple tap on that but that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. It's gonna be so good. Okay. Do y'all swipe right on blank? A Liberty said, abso-fucking-lutely not. Next. Okay. What if it's just a picture? Like they got a picture and it is them, or at least it appears to be them. They got a picture, but it just says, I'm just vibing or something real basic on a dating profile. Do you swipe right on those profiles? Holla at your boy said, if it's blank out, has no pics, I'm ignoring. Okay. Rolando DD said blank, like no pictures and no words. What if it is a picture, less than 5 words? I'll say that. A picture in less than 5 words. And again, remember, this ain't no hookup. We're not talking about sniffies. We talking about Hinge, Archer, Tammy. I just said I wasn't gonna say brand names. Tammy is one of our partners. So I'll say Tammy. Do you swipe right? Like, does a picture with no words ever rise to the level of getting your attention? Real shit with Darren T said, that's a fuck, not date material. Panther says it's an instant block. Carlos LeFleur and Unlimited said triple blocked. Jeremyology said, I don't know. They don't know him. Hold on. Jeremyology also said, in conversing around establishing a relationship, I always ask the question, what's your ideal man look like? And I always get the answer, I don't know what I don't want. And that always gives me my answer. What do you mean? I don't know what I don't want. I don't know what I do want. Unpack that one for me. They don't know what you're saying they don't know what they want. Now, I will tell you, if someone asks me what my ideal man looks like, I might not give them an answer. Because I have seen, I say my ideal man is, ambitious. I don't want the person to be, skewing their conversation toward trying to demonstrate their ambition. Like, I want you to just be you, regardless of what I'm looking for. Because in my head, the dating process is I'm going to examine who you are, how you navigate space with me, how you navigate space with your friends, how you navigate space potentially with your family if we get that far. And I'm going to ask myself, do I want to participate with that? So I just want you to be you. So when you ask me, what does your ideal man look like? Then I'm like, I don't even know if I want to answer that. I got a picture, I got an answer, but I don't want to answer that because I don't want you to start trying to shape yourself to fit into this what could be a very narrow definition of ideal that I have. Mr. Whitty says, sure, why not? Some people are shy in their writing. It's a serial killer. Don't do it, Sydney. I could chuckle at that. I'd entertain them just to ghost their weird ass. So let me tell you this, because I have a very love-hate relationship with ghosting. And as I was researching this particular topic, there are dating professionals all across the globe that most of them are on the ghosting is toxic side of the spectrum. But there was one that said, I believe in ghosting. Like, I don't need to prove to you, I don't need to explain myself to you if you didn't matter enough for me to have a conversation. Like, if you were nothing to me, if we just went out on one date, one conversation, one something, I don't think that this particular professional was like, I don't think that they've earned an explanation as to why it doesn't work. And so I'm like, okay, that does make sense. Cause like after one date, why do I need to explain my reasoning to you? Why do I need to open up myself to you trying to convince me otherwise? After one date, I saw a vibe that I wasn't feeling, and I can just fall back. How do y'all feel about ghosting? Because our first point, Lamont's first point was date with intention. Second point was date with for compatibility. But if I identify that we are incompatible on one level or another, and I'm saying very, very early in the dating process, like first date, is it appropriate to ghost them? Richard Durham says ghosting is appropriate for one-offs. Panther says a lot of blank profiles are DL, have a girlfriend and married. Where are y'all finding these people? Like, I don't deal with a whole bunch of or maybe I just have like, y'all educated me to there's a different definition of top than I have in my head. There's a very different definition of DL to me, apparently. Like DL, they're not gonna be on no apps. They like a DL ain't gonna have Grinder on his phone. Hell no. DL ain't gonna be on no apps. DL men are in my experience are the ones that be like cruising. They'll be the highly sexual people at the gym or they'll be at the parks or very suggestive eye contact in public spaces. I do not know of a DL person that would be on the apps. If you on the apps, I'm assuming that you're not DL. You can be discreet. You can be I don't put my business all out. I'm not wearing the Dear Black Gay Men hat and hoodie set. But it ain't no DL men on the apps in my experience, or at least to me. And again, I might be the drama. I don't mind being the drama. But if you are on an app that I would frequent that is gay, like the apps we talking about here, like the app I used to secure this date, you ain't DL. You just think people don't know. And newsflash, they absolutely do. Somebody suspects. There is not a way that you got Grindr on your phone and don't nobody suspect. There is not a way that you hooking up with somebody and don't nobody suspect nothing. That is impossible. It does not happen. But I do think that blank profiles do lend themselves to people like that. Like, I will say the honorable mention or the exception might be like a Facebook dating or something where it's a dating profile where you could just change a setting. But yeah, if you just ain't got no picture on Grindr, you just a time waster. You ain't DL. You can't be DL on Grindr. But again, I might be the drama here. Richard Durham says in a glass closet. Baran says maybe not where you are, but here in Abidjan, man, after a certain hour, every account logged on is DL. Okay, I'll give you that. I probably do have a very ethnocentric, a very regional understanding of what DL means. Carlos said, I also kind of like being I'm good, but last time I ghosted someone that sex was so bad I was vexed and blocked his number immediately. Now, granted enough, if times where ghosting is the most appropriate in my experience is not just if they turn me off, I'm absolutely ghosting you. I never want to see you again. Like I was saying, like if it came out in a first date that you voted for Donald J. Trump as 47 or 45, I'm never talking to you again. We're not finishing this date. Never talking to you again. I have no interest in dating you ever. But my question more is, what if they just don't sufficiently turn you on in a date? Like they're not, you know, totally not my type. They just not enough of my type. Would you ghost them? Would you ghost them or would you tell them, oh, this might not be the vibe for me? I'm curious. Cause I mean everybody got their thing. Panther says if someone tells me they need a ride for a hookup or a date, it's an instant block. Now that's a good one. It's one thing if now for me, because again, picking someone up for a date is not something foreign to me. It's one thing if I offer, it's another thing if you need it. Because if you're gonna not have a car, you don't have to have a car to date me. I've dated many people who do not have a car, but I can't date someone who's immobile. And those are two very different things. Every person that I've dated who does not have a car was, was a public transit, Uber, Lyft, the whole nine, right? They have no problem getting where they need to go. If you are immobile, hard pass. I ain't picking you up. And if you immobile can't host, that there is absolutely nothing we can do. Unlimited said, lastly, in my opinion, the gold standard of a first date isn't perfect fun or instant love. It's walking away with clarity about compatibility, interests, and whether a second date makes sense. Now that's a good nugget of knowledge. Lamont's last piece of advice is this is his last piece of advice. Check this out. Number 3.
Consistency. Consistency.
Okay, now we're gonna double tap there. What do you mean by that, Lamont?
So listen, how you show up is how you should stay in that relationship. If you are calling him every day, if you are texting him every day, if you're giving him compliments, if whatever you're doing to get the man, you have to do that to keep the man.
Okay, so let me tell you a story.
I'm listening.
So I'm dating someone right now. Everyone in the room knows that I'm dating someone. We are very, very fresh, weeks long, 6, 7 weeks. I'll tell you that. But normally I'm a morning person, so I'll be getting up very, very early, and I'll make sure that I am awake when he's awake, when he gets up, because he is not a morning person. Today I happen to sleep till 11 o'clock. First message, where the hell you at? And it gave me everything I needed. I found, now let me be clear, I am not dating the person that I was talking about in that, and I am not dating anybody exclusively right now. But I found that I have to pull back on communication when I initially swipe right. When I swipe right, I want to talk to them all day. But what that does is set a precedent that I'm always available, or an expectation on these long, drawn out text messages. What I did was have one phone call to set the date, then another quick follow-up mid-afternoon to confirm the date, then radio silence. Not texting all day gave us something to talk about during the date. So my question to you is, how much communication is consistent? How much communication are you looking for when it comes to consistency? Real shit with Darren T said, I love that toxic shit. Me too. I'm trying to I ain't gonna worry about these comments. I love that toxic shit. Panther says, boy, don't call me in the morning. Okay, so let me break down the call. This is not a 6 o'clock. This particular day that I went on this date, we were swiping. I was in bed scrolling. I don't want to talk to anybody in the morning. Like my whole house is on Google Home, and I hope the studio is too. But like, in order to turn the lights on, I have to say the words. The chime be like, turn the lights on. I don't even want to do that in the morning. I don't want to open my mouth and say anything. But this particular day, we're swiping, and I messaged somebody because, he was cute. I liked his profile, and I followed the instructions. I said something witty about his profile. I gave him a compliment. We had a couple exchanges, and then I said, let's link up. We exchanged phone numbers, and by this time it's like 7 in the morning. We said, okay, let's connect around 7 tonight. By 1 p.m., I called him. I ain't texted him no more that day. I called him. I said, hey, how you doing? This is Jay, letting you know I'm looking forward to meeting up with you tonight. Gave him location. Do you want me to meet? Do you want to meet there, or you want me to come pick you up? Because the location was closer to his house. He said, we'll meet there. Perfect. Got it. Around 6, I called again, and I said, hey, I'm on my way. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'll probably get there a little early. I'll meet you in the parking lot. That was the only communication we had all day. We started swiping. We were in the DMs in the morning. Midday, I called him. Daytime location. When I'm on the way, I called him again from the car. Be like, I'm looking forward to it. And that is it. And then now we got a whole bunch of things we can talk about all day. Because apparently that's very old school. People want to be texting all day and everything. I like doing that shit too. But I learned that does not contribute to what I'm trying to get out of a person. If I'm trying to get a second date because I think you're interesting, then texting you all day is the date. That's the first date. Because everything I would text you throughout the day is probably what I would talk to you during a date. And that was counterproductive for me. Unlimited. Damn. Let me see if I can fix this. We getting somewhere with these comments. Okay, Unlimited said in the beginning, it's smarter to pace your text. Constant messaging can create a fake sense of closeness. The goal is just to check in and confirm the next date. That's exactly my vibe as well. Now, Unlimited, I think you've told us in the chat that you got a man or a significant other. I don't want to assume sexuality or gender, but you got somebody. So shout out to you for dropping it. Rolando DD said the exact opposite. Text me all day. I'm such a fire sign. If you let up for an hour, I legit be on to the next. Rolando, we might wanna heal that, friend. Fire sign, what is that? A Leo? Rolando, you a Leo? Benjamin Johnson said, agreed, Jay, but I don't mind the text throughout the day. Now, here's the gotcha for that for me. I don't mind texting throughout the day after that first date. After we have communicated face to face, then yeah, we can text throughout the day on whatever frequency is appropriate or consistent for the two of us. But that first day or leading up to a first date, for me, I give radio silence. And the way that you know I am consistently interested is because I will pick up the phone and call you. Now, I will say that my process doesn't normally doesn't lend itself to like meet up today and we're going to have a date in this weekend. This particular process worked because we were meeting in the same day. But swiping in the morning, midday phone call for 5 minutes tops. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad we're meeting up today. I'll see you tonight at location at time. And then I'm on my way phone call. Here we go. Germiology said, I love all day night text in my perspective mean. Oh, I keep tapping it. Sagittarius said Sagittarius put it on me one time and then gave me some glazed cinnamon rolls to go home with. I knew he was a problem. Why was he not a blessing, Mr. Witty? That feels like he would be a blessing. Why is he not a blessing? He gave it to you and then sent you home with some food. That sound like husband material to me. That sounds absolutely like husband material to me. But needless to say, we we all have different definitions of these things. So the question was, how much communication is constitutes consistency? I interestingly enough, the older I get, the the less communication I need to maintain interest. I do need to hear from you daily, but I don't need hour by hour updates via text. Hold on. Ugh. Yeah, I don't need hour by hour updates via text when I am communicating with somebody. Now, when I was younger, when I was like in my 20s, I wanted to know I wanted to what's going on the chat? Oh God. Okay. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be up under somebody all the time. I wanted to be connected all the time. I wanted all the things. Now that I'm getting old, baby, text me in the morning, call me at night, and I'm good. I can't be doing all day texting. I don't have the attention span for it anymore. Unlimited T said consistency isn't just key, it's the clearest way to communicate and show effort and genuine interest. Now, here's the thing. I posted the other day on Instagram that people don't want people don't want consistency, they want clingy. And I do think there is a distinct difference between those two things. People want like somebody in the chat. A couple people in the chat said they want someone to text them all day every day, and I'm not that. I don't need you up under me. I don't need, moment by moment updates of what you did today. I don't need to know what you ate for lunch. I don't need to know, like, I want to know these things over time, but I don't need to front load it with all this texting in the beginning part of a dating situation because what are we going to have to talk about? If we spend so much time communicating, then what then do we have to communicate about later? When I'm looking at you in your face and I'm trying to, assess how our lives fit together because I want something meaningful with you. I don't know. Apparently we got Baron said we got bot tacked. So many. But we're here. But like Panther said, I like text, but too much. You like to text too like you like too much texting. Clicky said it's fun to flirt via texting, but until your first date, it's like a build up. I used to have them foaming at the mouth. However, I haven't done that in 13 years, so connection is everything. Agreed. Agreed. Carlos said, yeah, I can't with anxious attachment. Secondary anxiety is the worst. Now, I will say that I have had a bit of the anxious attachment. Because here's the gotcha for me, and this will be the last point before we round it out. The gotcha for me is I had to start distinguishing for myself what is words of affirmation and what is anxious attachment. What is anxious attachment and what is words of affirmation? Because hear me out. Like I like to hear that you're proud of me, that you believe in me, that you affirm what I do and my contributions to either our lives together or what I do in the world. Like those are things that light me up and remind me that you are thinking of me. But I also like to hear where the hell you been? Why you ain't text me? Why you ain't whatever, Like I like both of those. I like the combination of the two. But the second one is anxious attachment. I like you a little jealous. I like you a little toxic because I am a little toxic. I want you to reflect back my toxicity so I know that I'm not weird. That is anxious attachment for me. Rolando says I like to text a lot so that I have a lot to talk about in person. And see, I'm the opposite. If I tell you what I'm thinking over the text message, I don't want to have to repeat it in person ever. Unlimited said that part unlearning it is essential to practice and cultivate secure attachment. Sitting in this posture is elite, classy, sexy, and safe. Or even something like small talk, like sending TikToks back and forth. Now I will do that all day. I'll send reels and memes and gifs all day. I'll send you the nastiest, dirtiest, filthiest stuff, and then I'll follow that up with, you know, a Bible verse and words of encouragement, and then I'll follow that up with something about how Virgos are the best sign on the world. Like I will send reels all day because that I can talk about in person. Did you see that when I sent you about a long periodically time? But if we're having conversation over the text message, then in my head I'm like, well, what are we gonna talk about in person? What are we gonna talk about like when we are sitting face to face with each other? Real shit with Darren T said, Jay, how can you have jealousy in a non-monogamous relationship? How can you have jealousy in a non-monogamous relationship? Easily. As a matter of fact, I will talk about that when we comment on comments. I'm going to get back to that one. All right. Remember, teammates, if you want to join me on the live stream, you can go to livestream.dearblackgayman.com. The link is pinned in the comments. I do want to hear your perspective on tomorrow's show because who knows what that's going to be like. But also, I want to hear your feedback on today's show. Lamont's three pieces of dating advice: date with intention, date with date for compatibility, and date with consistency. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, or you can join me live on the show after the break, and we will be right back. What up, y'all? I need your help. There's this new feature on YouTube that can help us grow as a channel. It's called Hype. It's free. I've seen it work on small channels just like ours, but it only works if we all do it. Antonio Speaks is a channel that I follow. He started at 20K subscribers when I hit the subscribe button, and I've seen him get 1,000 new subs in a day, hundreds of thousands of new viewers. In YouTube, right next to the like and share, there's this new button called Hype. The more a video gets hyped, the higher it will rank on YouTube. The higher we rank, the more people get to see our content, the faster Dear Black Gay Men continues to grow. Like this video right now. When you see Dear Black Gay Men content on YouTube, even if you've watched it already or attended the live, like the video, drop a comment, and click the hype button. I appreciate y'all more than I can express. Let's get to 20. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman, and I host all the craziness that happens right here in the back room. As far as I know, we are the only queer-led podcast that has its own studio in Atlanta. We party in the back room. We have a Kiki in the back room.
Get that gooch licked on or something. Like, figure it out. Like,
we have a cocktail in the back room.
Oh, that's really good.
That's what she said. And we grow in the back room. Every time y'all are here, every time you're here, you say something that I'm just like, that really happens? If you're in the Atlanta area, you want to join us in the back room, visit dearblackgayman.com/tickets to see what live shows and events we have coming up right here in the back room. We ain't never had a conversation this good.
Start fighting and it's over nothing. Like, why?
Nothing was off limits.
What do you look for?
Top thing, first thing. You
Honestly.
scrolling on the apps and you like, how has HIV impacted your dating life? Then it got a little petty.
Worked the same way that the negative hole worked. And I said,
Celebrating National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. It's the HIV Talk on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman, and it is time to comment on some comments. Hit it. The comments keep the vibes going through the roof right here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. If you want to add your piece of the conversation, just go to livestream.dearblackgayman.com to join us live on the show. We don't have anybody waiting, but there is a comment that I wanted to bring up. Real Shit with Darren T just asked, Jay, how can you have jealousy in a non-monogamous relationship? I'll tell you. I will tell you a story, and I'm going to be a whole very vulnerable here, so buckle up. I dated someone a long time ago, and he was more of a side, but he bottomed for me. that worked for us. Like, he was into edging and baiting and a whole bunch of things that I just was not tremendously interested in, right? And so he and I would engage. Our sex life was great, but he had a sex life outside of us that had one set of tasks. I had a sex life outside of us that had a different set of activities that I enjoy. And what I noticed very quickly is he would get like the dreamy eyes and feels things and say things that just told me that he really, really liked how the sex life he maintained with other people. And he was very at liberty saying that to me. Telling me, like, with stars in his eyes, like, let me tell you about this other dude that I just had sex with or that I just did something with, and how big his dick is, and all these things that I cannot provide because, I got what I got, right? That created a level of jealousy in me because I really wanted him to be able to talk with such enthusiasm about our sex life, and he couldn't. I got really jealous because not because he was having sex with other people, but because it seemed as if what he had with others was more fulfilling than what he had with me. Fast forward, it was more fulfilling with others than it was with me, and then we ended up breaking up. Not because I couldn't satisfy him, but because he couldn't see he couldn't see how affected I was by how he spoke about the things he did. I encouraged him to explore. I encouraged him to seek these things out, but home has to be the priority for me. And the way that he spoke about these other experiences with other people really did make me jealous. And I'm man enough to say that. I'm man enough to say that. He made me jealous. Again, he can fuck whoever he wants to. I don't care what you do. It's just I have to feel like what we have is the priority in these things. And if it is that, what you have with other people is more enjoyable than what you have with me, then we just need to say that because we can work on that. Like, is it the activity? Is it behavior? Is there something about what I do that is not as good as what they do? Or is it that you're just not man enough to tell me the truth? Like, that was the beginning and end of the conversation. And on top of that, the irony is I can because I have been not I have been and prefer a non-monogamous situation, I also acknowledge that I am not going to be the sexiest man in your eyes. I am not going to be the best at everything because I am not the best at everything. I'm not the tallest, I'm not the most masculine, I'm not the things. But what open has allowed me to assess in my relationships is, are you pursuing a fetish? Like, are you pursuing something because you can't get it here? Or are you trying to compensate for something that we have here? I go through the same mental process with role plays. Like, if you want me to role play as a thug, is that because you want me to put on a costume or is that because you genuinely desire a thug? If you want me to role play as a police officer, I think that's a little more obvious that it might be the uniform that's turning you on, or perhaps it's being in custody or being tied up or whatever. But if you want me to role play as something that I am not, is that because we're fetishizing this and we're role playing, or is that because this is what you actually want? And I enjoy those conversations. I enjoy getting to the bottom of it. And those are things that I don't know that I would have uncovered about myself or my relationships had we not been some level of open. Hey, Eric Jernigan. Welcome to Dear Black Gay Men. Welcome to the family. But yeah, those are that is, to your question, real shit with Darren T. That is the way that one can be jealous in a non-monogamous situation. That is how jealousy came up for me. But also the way that I have cured that jealousy for me is being super inquisitive, being super curious about the gaps in your interest, and being okay with that. I am okay if you want to go to the sex party and get plowed down because you want, a certain experience that you just can't get with one dick, or you can't get with my dick, or you can't get with me sexually. I get it. But I'm not going to lie to myself or us and to say that, this is a one-off thing if it isn't. If you are looking for something, let's just call a thing and deal with facts. And that is what non-monogamy and openness does for me. I want to be able to call this thing a thing and pursue whatever the solution looks like. I dated somebody who had never had a threesome. You cannot achieve that in a monogamous situation. And he was bold enough to tell me, I don't want my first one to be with you, because then I'm just going to assume that this is how threesomes work all the time. I'm in love with one person and not with the other. Bet, do you? He had a three-way. And then he wanted to have one with me. It worked. But also, it helped me parse through, again, my own anxious attachment style and all the things that go along with that. Because I had to because you have to be very, very, very secure in order to engage in non-monogamy, in order to have a conversation about it, in order to meaningfully collaborate with another person on something that can impact both of you and the relationship. Like, you got to have a whole lot of security in order to deal with those things. It ain't just about where somebody's sticking their dick. Holla at your boy said, I get that, LOL, but sometimes I want to know if he discovered a new kink he didn't know he had, might even introduce me to something. Yes, CJ, that's why I'm have to put the ring on your finger. Really love that. I got 10 of them. One of them is very special and it's empty right now. So okay, teammates, I will tell you, I said yesterday, early in the show, that tomorrow's going to be a big show. And I hope that I can count on the DBGN family to join me in this conversation with Amir Odom. I have spoken to him. We have just talked a little bit about what we're going to talk about on the show. I don't know where the conversation is going to go, because I never try to ask I don't want to ask somebody a question and then be like, now say it again on TV. So I don't know what many of his answers are, but I do know the content that he's created. And I hope that y'all will tap in with me tomorrow. Again, we'll be live at 9 with Amir Odom. And then, like I said, the tickets for the private party are available at dearblackgaymen.com/tickets. The link is in the description. And they are going fast. And I don't mean that just as some gimmick to get you to buy tickets. They are actually going fast. We only got so many of them, and when they gone, they gone. We don't have a bigger venue for this particular event. So make sure you get your ticket to the private party happening on October 9th. I will be here tomorrow, bright and early at 9 p.m. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman. We will be right back here with another episode of Dear Black Gay Men Podcast, Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. For more exclusive content, join me on Substack at dearblackgaymen.substack.com. I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.